Nithyanandam Paramasukadam Kevalam Jnanamurtim Dvandvaditam Gagana Sadrisham Tattvamasya Dilaksham Ekam Nityam Vimalamachalam Sarvadi Sakshibhutam Bhavaditam Trigunarahitam Sadgurum Tam Namami. We welcome each and every one of you watching us, joining us here today on Nithyananda TV, Kailasa's official TV channel. In today's segment of Vakyartha Sadhas, we will be discussing the topic of religious conversion, whether Hindus should accept religious conversion or not. Swamiji, His Divine Holiness, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, Jagadguru Mahasanidhanam, has been reviving the Hindu civilization, Jivartha Sadhas, have the Vakyartha Sadhas, so that in future generations, even the posterity will also be able to take the same educated decision because of listening to the reasons for which we have taken certain stances. Swamiji beautifully says that the Hindu voting system is not something of a democratic body which has evolved over the past 100 years.
Whatever you think as your strength, like how much cash you have, how much...
We have very beautiful announcement. The Hindu votes are sacred. The Hindu votes matter. Hindus vote for Hinduism. Activity is getting consolidated and presented to all of you. I want all of you to know. This voting system is in Hinduism from time immemorial. Even in the Vedas and Puranas, there are references where a concept is debated and voted. Not only in our Vedas and Agamas, even in the Puranas, there are enough historical reference. From time immemorial, this tradition was there, doing Vakyartha Sadhas, Jivartha Sadhas, Anubhava Mantapa discussions, and then voting for certain concepts, principles, ideas, decisions to come to conclusions. So that same tradition handed over to me from my Guru Parampara, and I have revived for last 26 years of my life. I have revived this whole system, and here I am presenting the whole system. The Hindu parliament system and Hindu voting system. The work we have done in the last 26 years in multiple Satsangs, public programs, I used to explain a concept and ask for people to raise their hands to vote for this side or that side. If you want, many times, if you attended my live Satsangs programs, in those days you will know very clearly. I used to explain a concept, then I'll ask whoever understands, cognizes, please raise your hand. And I'll always explain the other side and say, whoever understands this principle, raise your hand. So it is the principle adopted from the ancient time. I was reviving the original parliament system as per the cosmic constitution of Hinduism. Continuously, we will do Vakyartha Sadhas, Jivartha Sadhas, and ask the Hindus to vote for various Hindu matters and offer the Vidhi and Nisheda, the Smriti for this yuga. The smriti for this yuga will be revealed through Vakyartha Sadhas, Jivartha Sadhas and voting. Finally approved by the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, we will be bringing new smriti to life for this modern day. In Hinduism, active participation is expected. See, you may vote just by saying yes or no. But that will be considered only as a participation, not active participation. If you give an explanation, your viewpoint, why you are voting for what you are voting, why you are doing why you are doing what you are doing. If you present your powerful cognitions too, it will help the next generation Hindus. See, when you have a reason to vote for vegetarian food, and if you explain the reason also, after 100 years, if that reason has changed or that reason has become irrelevant, people can change the decision. So it will help for the generations to enjoy your expertise and your intelligence. That is the reason we request you to put your powerful cognitions, your thought currents also on record in the form of Vakyartha Sadhas and Jivartha Sadhas.
Yes, we're back. So Swamiji beautifully explained how Hindu voting is from our ancient age-old tradition, where from time immemorial we have been practicing the voting system, and explains how important it is not only to participate in the voting and cast our vote, but to also share our reasons behind that as well. So let's now like to on the Sunday. So nice to have all of you, and nice to see new faces, some new, some old, on this panel with us today here. So before we enter into the Jivartha Sadhas, let's just go around once and have everyone introduce themselves for all our viewers. We can start with jnanatma. Shri jnanatma, you can go ahead and you introduce yourself.
Nithyananda Maharaj, thank you very much. Pleasure to be here. Beautiful energy in the Uttamattama Seva, like being in the Golden Temple once again. So thank you to Swamiji. My name is Shri Nithyananda. I grew up in Canada, became an elementary school teacher and computer engineering technologist, and grew up playing ice hockey, and ended up traveling around the world and working in the education field for the past 20 years, and was fortunate enough to see Swamiji on YouTube in 2008, and have been a follower since then, and had the grace of being initiated and spending time in the Kailasa campus, initiated as a brahmachari in 2015, and it's been amazing transformation. Every day and every week, every month, every year, just more and more seemingly impossibilities becoming a reality just by presence of the group. So thank you very much.
You can go ahead.
Nithyananda. My name is Shri Ashutosh. So I am also Canadian. I grew up, studied mechanical engineering, business and finance, and I did also travel a little bit around the world, and I met Swamiji in 2014. I was also blessed to get initiated into the lifestyle of Karma Brahmacharya, and it's been a blessing, this journey with Swamiji since 2014. And the space that Swamiji is holding for me and all of us, and allowing these powerful cognitions to blossom within ourselves, and allowing that conscious shift to happen, to go beyond all the things that the different forms of life negativity that we might cherish. So it's an amazing experience, and I'm very happy to be here tonight on NTV. And thank you very much, Nithyananda.
Yes, Nithyananda, we're also delighted to have you here. We also have Sanjay Ayya. Yes, Ayya, you can go ahead and introduce yourself.
Nithyananda, my name is Sanjay Vakyartha. I live in London in the United Kingdom. I've been a devotee of Swamiji since around 2016. I've been initiated and a Hindu all my life, but now much better understand my Hinduism and really experiencing it in a much more full way. I run a data analysis business here in the UK. And yeah, really appreciate this space that NTV is providing for the whole Kailasa nation.
Yes, Ayya, thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining us here today. Yes, we also have Rainasan. Yes, Ayya, you can go ahead and introduce yourself.
Nithyanandam, everyone. My name is Renoshan, and I'm from Canada, Toronto. And I've been with Swamiji since roughly 2013. And honestly, there's so much. Obviously, everybody has everything that they can share about our relationship with Swamiji, the adventures with Swamiji. And really, what I can share is really since Swamiji, it's been such a exciting experience exploring both the Vyakta and Avyakta. And even now, just this whole opportunity, this space is one more exploration of the space only. And so I just wanted to give my gratitude for this opportunity, this platform. And yes.
Yes, so nice to have you also, Ayya. So, apart from us, we also have people joining us from Canada and London. So I'm really looking forward to the Vakyartha Sadhas today. It's going to be very interesting. So without further ado, let's enter into the Vakyartha Sadhas. So on the past few days, we have been discussing very intensely about the topic of religious conversion and whether Hindus should accept it or not. In the course of the discussion, we have come to many points, many conclusions, and before we start today's Vakyartha Sadhas, let's just go a little bit over the previous Vakyartha Sadhas gist and the facts and figures which we have with us here today. Slide. Yes, so religious conversion. Should Hindus allow religious conversion or not? What is religious conversion and how does it affect Hinduism? So we have the gist of the Vakyartha Sadhas so far. Militant missionaries and missionary militants. So one type of conversion is where we have the conversion done by force, the Islamic conversion which happened in India, where forcefully through fear we had been forced to convert for the sake of survival. So that is type of conversion. And the second type of conversion, missionary militants, where the Christianity, when the British invaded us, they tried to forcefully convert us through deceit, through cunning, and so on. Or disease that have caused centuries of conversion out of methods of physical force or deceit. Hindus should not allow conversion. Though methods of force which were inflicted onto Hindus may now be internationally termed as genocide. Methods of deceit continue in a very large scale onto the remaining Hindu population. So along with this, we also have a photo of Frontier Ventures. So they are the funding body behind the Joshua Project. I know many of you may or may not have heard about the Joshua Project. The Joshua Project is a global initiative taken up for the by Christians for the sake of converting everyone, literally the whole globe, into Christianity. And as conversion is allowed in their laws, they have taken up upon themselves and have organized themselves very, very nicely. And not only that, they present all the statistics, all the data, all the current plans and future plans, everything on the website. If you visit the URL .net, you will be able to access and see all the data on this public website, where very freely, very openly, you will be really shocked to see the website, how organized they are, how they have classified the whole world and the whole human population into sects and groups, and how they target group by group and reach out to them to convert them into Christianity. Here we have the body which funds the Joshua project. Apart from the Joshua project, they also have 7 other entities which they are funding as well. Out to each and every single person on this globe and try to bring them to Christianity.
Yes, add here, the Jivaartha Sadhas, so far we have been talking about the history of the conversion that has happened in India by force, by the Mughal invasion, and by deceit by the British Empire. And we have also been talking about the negative effects and how it's still continuing today, and how it's continuing in a very subtle way. And Joshua Project is an example of how we came to an understanding, how it's still there today, and how it's in a very thriving way there today. And as Swamiji says, it's very unfortunate that even Hindus don't know that there is a war against them. And language, even as far as the have tracks and reports continuously how many people have been reached, how many people have been converted, in what way they have been converted, the new ideas which they have to such that they converted, how they spoke to each other and converted that person, and the challenges they face in converting particular types of people, how they catered to them, how they convinced them in their way, in the way that they will be able to understand. All the deceit is presented in an interesting way on those sites. We just have to go to those sites, read them and understand them. And you'll be able to see this is very intimidating about the organization of the level of it. So what is it that is the solution for this? And we have also come always recurringly talking in the Jivaartha Sadhas in the past 1 week about the urgency of Shri Kailasa. Swamiji has recently talked in the last few satsangs and told us to do Jivaartha Sadhas and Vakyartha Sadhas and do the actions required to bring the urgency of Kailasa in all Hindus. He said, by the will of Paramashiva, this Kailasa is manifesting through me. We Hindus built temples but forgot to build a structure which can maintain and enrich the world with this. It's time we build that kind of structure now. That structure that Swamiji is building is Sri Kailasa, the only Hindu nation, and we're on the work of getting the sovereign land and getting the ingredients ready to build our own nation. And Swamiji beautifully gives an example in the next slide. He says, Jews made Israel happen and speak for them. We Hindus should make Kailasa happen and speak for us. We need Hindu nation to speak for Hindus. Straight up, Swamiji is giving us the direct example of how we have the Jewish people have set up a nation for themselves where they can protect their ancestry, they can protect their heritage and live in peace and follow their religion in peace. That example is given, and Swamiji is saying that. And then the literal reason why we need a Hindu nation, Swamiji is saying in the next slide, is saying only if we create politically free place, we can have the Hindu seed bank alive. Hindu seed bank is another topic that we had come up in the Vakyartha Sadhas, talking about what the importance is to keep the tradition alive in the form of a seed. The originality is, as the originality is being cut off where the nation, where Hinduism had thrived in the past, the seeds are very much can be kept alive through the efforts of Shri Kailasa. And we've given the examples of all of our rituals that we do here and the Brahmotsams that we follow, and the Shanmata concept that we don't just follow one Shaivism, we follow literally all the 7 Sampradayas that are majorly there in Hinduism, Ganapatya, Kaumaram, and we follow these, and we take those and we save the seeds of those. Literally, actually, what we do whenever we plan for a Brahmotsavam, because my background is in I'm trained in temple and trained in the Gurukul by Swamiji to run the temples. I've seen that the seed banks are carried in how we go to those temples and literally ask them, how do you run your temple? How does a Ganapati temple run? How does a Kumara temple run? How does the Shakta traditions work? So we have done all this groundwork, and Swamiji has taken it out and brought it to the world. And that is how actually we are doing the work of having the seeds, saving the seed bank. So the seed bank is important, and I think it's something that even many Hindus will understand the grave importance of, as they can see the rate at which the organization is on the anti-Hindu side, and the way that at which we just in the blink of an eye that or whatever we know as Hinduism can be wiped out. The seed bank is an extremely good project to save it, and all of this work is saved on Kailasapedia online, talking about the whole nation of Kailasa. So the question that we have today for the panel is something that we have been discussing again and again about the conversion and the need of it. So what happened yesterday in the Vakyartha Sadhas, we had concluded that it is also important for Hindus also to recognize that we are also saving somebody's soul when we are doing our enriching, or when we are going about doing the work of Shri Kailasa, or doing saving somebody, not talking to somebody. But what is the difference between a Christian saving somebody's soul and a Hindu saving somebody's soul? This is something we have come to the understanding that we are needing to do urgent work of spreading the word of the Kailasa. So now we are talking about the actual work. Now the two questions that we have is, what is the line between conversion and enriching? And what is the difference between a Christian saving your soul and a Hindu saving your soul? So that is how far we gotten. We can have Mangala Maharaj share about his thoughts.
Yes, thank you so much, Raja Maharaj. So this question is very beautiful. What is the line? Where is the line drawn between enriching and conversion? So, as Raja Maharaj had beautifully shared, actually this question had come up in course of previous Vakyartha Sadhas. So Raja Maharaj previously in the Vakyartha Sadhas a few days back, I was sharing a story when he was back living in Seattle during his childhood days. So at the time during winter, during a month very much like this, he was sharing how early morning 2 boys without any heavy warmth clothing, just a simple sweater, they had come and they had knocked on his door early in the morning, and when he attended to them, when he opened the door, they simply asked, can we read a few pages from the Bible for you? So it was not that Raja Maharaj was interested in the Bible or had any soft corner for listening to the Bible early morning, but just seeing the dedication, hard work, and the sacrifice these boys are making, coming early in the morning without any clothing, without any protective clothing, just to read the Bible for you. It is just for that sake, so that you shouldn't be disrespectful for them. You shouldn't, look mean, and you should appreciate at least the effort which they're putting. We listen, we say okay, and we listen to them read a few pages from the Bible. So this is the extent to which they go to for the sake of conversion. And there is when they convert, they don't actively go to a person and say you have to convert to a Christian. What do you need next? You have to be a Christian. So it is, they do it through these kind of ways. They make you feel almost guilty in a way. And see, that is the whole purpose of Christianity. The basic fundamental thought current is we're all sinners, and only when we accept Jesus, only when we turn towards their religion, their faith, their beliefs, we have a place with God in the afterlife. So this leads us to the next question, which has been presented today here as well. What is the difference between a Christian saving your soul and a Hindu saving your soul? So this also had come in the course of yesterday's Jivat Sadhas, where as Hindus, what is our fundamental statement? We do not say everyone is a sinner, but we say everyone is a divine. They just have to realize and wake up to the divinity inside of them. This is the fundamental concept in Hinduism. But if you look at if you take us to a few steps back, Christianity, they also think that they're saving people, that they need to go out and be the protectors of the world, making everyone understand that how they are sinners and they need to turn towards Jesus to have the true salvation. But in Hinduism, it's not salvation. It's not all about salvation. It's about liberation, where once you enrich a person, make them understand the divinity inside them, how they can also be gods in their own life, in the day-to-day activities. That is the true Hindu way of liberation, of Hindus saving other people's souls. So these are very beautiful questions, and over the past many couple of days, we've been discussing about this, and we just thought it'll be adequate to bring those questions back in for today's Jivat Sadhas. So Ashutosha, if you can say a few words, what do you think should be what are your thoughts basically on the line between conversion and enriching, and the difference between the Christian way of saving the soul and the Hindu way of saving the soul? You can continue now.
With. It is not like in the example that was just shared. It's not about like putting a front in order to create an impact and using that as an opening in order to insert something. It's a cunning approach. Enriching is not from the space of cunningness. Enriching is something which is empowering you, something which is awakening you to the higher self, to you, the higher you, to the Paramashivoham space, the oneness with Guru. And then because you are empowered, naturally you will radiate something which whatever that truth or that powerful cognition is, that will allow you to radiate higher energy. And naturally, you will also share this powerful cognition so that the person can also experience the same powerfulness and raise him or herself. So that's one of the main things which I right away can see between conversion and enriching. Enriching happens from a sincere space that you have realized something, you rose yourself through initiations, powerful cognitions, and various other things. And because you know the benefit, because it is your experience, because you're experiencing the benefits, you're sharing that with others so that they also have an opportunity to experience those benefits. And the space of listening also is totally different, because in the example that was mentioned just earlier, you present yourself in a certain way, you create an impact. In that impact, you slip in and you send your message. But the enriching is there's a form of purity in it. It's not just a tactic. It's not just a game. It's a sincere response to life, to share what you have, basically. So that's one of the first things regarding conversion and enriching. What is the difference between a Christian saving your soul and a Hindu saving your soul?
Ashutosh Maharaj, actually, before you answer that question,
Yes.
let's have everybody answer the first question. I'll give you some more time to actually so that you can have everybody answer this question, and we can go to the next one. So go ahead, Jnanatma, go ahead and answer for the first question. Thank you.
Okay, great. And can we just repeat what is the question, please?
Yes, so the first question is, where is the line between conversion and enriching? Where do you draw the line between conversion and enriching? That's the first question.
Okay, great. Yeah, exactly. So there's many aspects to it. And like one of the examples is with Francis of Assisi, who was a Catholic monk who lived in approximately the 13th century. And he actually was able to cause other enlightened beings. So there is a line here, and it's actually, you know, it's related obviously with what Sri Ashutosh has just shared. Basically, the idea with Hindus and Hinduism is that you are a conscious being, and when we come together in an interaction, the possibility for both of us to contribute and for both of us to expand with neither of us losing anything is possible and expected. So even like, so the Hindu civilization is consciousness based. This is what we have to understand. The entire Kailasa nation and all of Hinduism is consciousness based. So that means without limitations based on religion, caste, creed, race, whatever you might say. So even whenever teacher and student comes together, there will be a mantra that is chanted that means that we come together in the space of mutual enriching and benefit. So the relationship between guru and disciple is not only that the expansion happens only on the side of the disciple, but the guru in his enriching also expands himself through enriching a disciple. So the context of enriching means contributing to the life of that being and causing the reality that they want. So the thing is, any enlightened being fulfilled in their own consciousness can relate and interact with any other being and recognize that that fulfillment comes beyond the space of what people may cause or call as a confine of religion. So that any being that's born, a manifestation of existence, by definition is a manifestation and an expression of existence and has that possibility manifest through them already. So an enlightened being will come to you with the context, for example, Francis of Assisi, it knows because he is fulfilled, who was also very famously known for being able to connect intensely with nature. They said that he could call birds, he could call animals. So he's living in that space of consciousness where he's able to manifest a connection to all living beings. So when he interacts with another living being, say a Buddhist monk, then he knows because of his space of fulfillment that he can enrich that Buddhist monk to expand his own consciousness towards enlightenment as a Buddhist monk himself. So there's no need for that Buddhist monk to change his path, because as a conscious being, his consciousness can be expanded by coming into contact with another enlightened being, and neither of those beings loses anything. Both of them expand their consciousness. So the space of enriching is that in the space of a consciousness-based civilization and an enriching-based civilization, rather than a strictly transactional civilization, which means if I give you this, it becomes depleted, and in response to that, you have to give me that, and something that you had becomes depleted, and our interaction is based on survival of the fittest and competition. Whereas, how can I grab as much as I need to grab so that I can survive, rather than the context of everything is provided for me food, medical care, education, and housing. And the purpose of my life is contributing to the lives of others. So just to go back to the question, what is the line between conversion and enriching? Enriching means contributing to the lives of others and causing their reality. So if that being wants lunch, it doesn't mean that you try to convince them that they should sit for 12 years or 20 years in a cave and realize what is Hindu enlightenment. Causing that being's reality means causing them with lunch or anadan. So enriching means contributing to the lives of others and causing a conscious expansion. Now, the difference between enriching and conversion means, see, enriching means expanding your consciousness to whatever goals you want to manifest. Conversion means I already have a preconceived idea of the path that you have to take. And my goal is that you have to accept not your path and your goal, but you have to accept the goal, say, rules, limitations that I have already decided that is necessary for you. So this concept of conversion doesn't apply at all in Hinduism, because you can go into many Hindu temples, and within that temple, they have many religions, whether it's worshippers of Devi, worshippers of Shiva, worshippers of Ganesh. Within one temple, many religions. Yoga is just one of the liberating thought trends that Sanatana Hindu Dharma has developed. And within yoga, any of those traditions that leads you to enlightenment is one religion itself. So Hinduism has many gods, many deities, many religions. And within that structure itself, my path that leads me to liberation, that I have to dedicate entirely towards and surrender entirely towards for me to reach the ultimate, doesn't preclude that your path is also unique to you and requires you to surrender to that path, but it can also be different. So the idea of conversion doesn't even exist in Hinduism. In the enriching space and expansion of consciousness goes across bounds of different religions, whereas a Hindu can approach a member of another religion with the space of enriching and contributing that being to be a better devotee, a better being, a better manifester on whatever path they are on. So the line in conversion comes when I have an idea of what you have to follow. Regardless of what you want to manifest for yourself, regardless of what your path is, you have to accept my path. This is where the delineation between enriching and contribution-based society comes in, and conversion, or you have to accept this path.
Thank you so much, Jnanatma. That is a very in-depth and a very detailed analysis of this question. So thank you so much for your thoughts. We also have Sanjay ji. Sanjay ji, you can go on now. What are your thoughts about this question? I'll just repeat the question here. So where is the line between conversion and enriching? Where is the line drawn between conversion and enriching? Yes, you can go on.
Thank you, Nithyananda. So two things really to share on this question of conversion and enriching. So as was shared, enriching feels like a more natural, organic process. It's unforced. And as was said, you're trying to cause another's reality. You're trying to cause expansion. Whereas conversion is something different in the sense that it comes with deceit. It comes with wanting to find a point of weakness and press on that point to create change. So even we're talking about the Joshua project, which actually was just brought to my attention by NTV. And interestingly, there's a fact sheet on Joshua's joshuaproject.net, specifically for Hindus. So i.e. how to convert a Hindu. And just 3 statements in here is to explain to them how they are trapped in an oppressive caste system, how they are forced to worship 330 million gods, and how they are bound by a belief in reincarnation without forgiveness or hope. So what conversion is, it's almost a sinister ploy to take something that is true in a sense. You know, yes, it's wonderful that we have gods, It's one, the caste system has been completely misunderstood, but what conversion will do is take these, leverage the misunderstanding that exists around these, and then try and create a change there. So that's one thing in terms of what's the line between conversion and enriching. So it's really about a position of negativity in conversion and a space of positivity in enriching. And then just the second thing on this as well, just to explain something that was already said, but in a slightly different way, is that enriching is a process that's helping to develop our cognitions. So there's a two-way process there. There's a hearing, there's a listening, there's an understanding, there's a development of ideas where either side may develop their cognitions in that process. However, conversion is pretty much just about enforcing conclusions. So there are these conclusions that are in the Bible that you must do X, Y, Z, and then you will be saved. Okay, so these are conclusions, and it's just about enforcing a conclusion, whereas enriching is about developing cognitions. And that's a very fundamental difference, and that's a clear line of demarcation between conversion and enriching.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Actually, we had discussed a point that was brought by Shanti before, was conversion is where it's basically if you're deciding to go from a space of slavery to freedom or freedom to slavery. And he's also saying one more thing that you pointed out that I would like to appreciate is that you're leveraging misconceptions when it comes to conversion. Actually, that's very important, because when it comes to enriching, you're taking somebody from a place of less awareness to being more aware about themselves, about the world, about the answers to fundamental questions. But in the space of conversion, those fundamental questions already have answers. You're just trying to put it down their throats. But when it comes to enriching, you're helping that person discover the answer on their own. That is the support, that is the environment and the ecosystem that you're providing in it, enriching. So just wanted to add that point. Thank you, Aya, for your sharing. And also, now, Reneshan, Aya, go ahead, Aya. Go ahead and share your thoughts.
Nityanandam. So actually, I wanted to thank everyone for your sharings. It's really giving me a lot of depth and clicks and cognitions about this one question of where is this line between conversion and enriching. I actually want to share this question from two angles. One from the length and then one from the depth. See, from the length, you just look at the language of this question itself. Where's the line between conversion, just the word conversion, and enriching, just the word enriching itself? Conversion means what? From one to the other. There's some kind of distinction there. There's a binary logic. The whole fundamental basis behind this thing of conversion is translating the being to the matter level. This thing of bringing it down to the matter level, it actually has an effect on, it has an impact on the being. It makes it, it has a ripple effect. Meanwhile, the word enriching, just this word enriching itself, it's literally multiplicative. It's expansive. It makes you feel big. Enriching means what? You're adding, multiplying. It's exponential. Even just by the language, this word enriching, this one also has a ripple effect, but now in the other way. This is one. This is from the length dimension, just looking at the language, just looking at the word conversion and looking at the word enriching. And then from the depth, the whole concept of conversion, it means what? Even if we take away the Christianity component and just look at any kind of conversion overall. Conversion, again, it's the whole thing of moving from one to another. It's the whole thing of dowel holding someone, categorizing someone, putting someone into some sort of, oh, you're this, so you have to be like this. You have to go here. You have to go like that. Meanwhile, the whole Hindu context, Renoshan remembers Swamiji sharing, Hinduism is the native lifestyle. It's the organic lifestyle. Life as it is, happens as what we know as Hinduism. There's no compartment, there's no Tao holding, no nothing. Literally, as soon as you drop all your labels, your identities, as soon as you drop everything, then you're living Hinduism. Your very life is enriching because you're just enjoying yourself. The whole Hindu parliament system, the whole Varnashrama Dharma, the whole everything is based on this, for you to live as you are, for you to drop all the things you picked up from others, this whole comparison, to drop the comparison. As soon as you drop the comparison, as soon as you drop this thing of judgment, then you can actually just live your life. Then your life actually becomes enjoying the tyaga, enjoying the enriching. The whole Hindu parliament system is this only, to bring you back to as you are. However, this conversion is, instead of letting you be as you are, you have to be like this now. You have certain rules, you have certain regulations. All the do's and don'ts start coming into play. Our notion, remember, Swamiji is sharing, Hinduism is not do's and don'ts. The agamas is to enrich you. Literally, it's like the owner's manual saying, hey, I know you. This is the best way you can enjoy. If you want to enjoy, here it is. If you also want to do your own thing, no problem. There's not do's and don'ts, but naturally the native way of living automatically aligns to everything in agamas. Whether you right away follow your agamas and then live, or you just drop everything and start living, end of the day, both you'll be aligned to agamas. You'll be aligned to the native lifestyle. And so this is from the depth level, is this thing of enriching is to bring you back to the native lifestyle, for you to drop all the fantasies, all the negative cognitions, all the toxic mental patterns, all these things, and just to be as you are. This is the fundamental thing of enriching, to just help you drop your patterns, to help you do the completion, to let you be as you are. Conversion is the other way. I won't go too much into it because we all know what this is, but conversion, I'll just say it's Tao holding someone. It's literally taking you out of the native, basically making you inorganic, makes you an inorganic being. So yes, this is the clicks that I'm getting just from everything that everybody's been sharing so far.
Thank you so much. Yeah, so it's so nice actually to hear all of you sharing from a very fresh and very different perspective from what we've been having for the past couple of days in the panel. So conversion overall, we've all come to the conclusion where conversion is a set of do's and don'ts, where already a line is drawn and you are made to follow that line. Whereas in Hinduism, when we ended someone, we allow that person to discover their line, to draw their own line to reach the same path. In the end, finally, in Hinduism, the paths are many, but the goal is one, to attain and live in that space of Paramashiva, realize that we are one with Paramashiva. And
when it comes to, I just wanted to add, when it comes to do's and don'ts, it's not like we don't have do's and don'ts. We have now laws. We have laws that are in Sri Kailasa. We cannot express and be in anger. We cannot express or be in gossip. We cannot entertain non-vegetarian food in any way or the act of it. So these are guidelines, these are do's and don'ts. But they come from the context of dharma. They come from the context of saving and not causing pain to others. These three things significantly will cause pain to other beings, other people, or other things. So from that context, a parliament system is created. From that context, dharma is re-established. And everything is given in, Swamiji says, in a life positive way. And Hinduism, as everybody has come to an understanding, Swamiji always defines it as the greater science, as Ganesha and I beautifully explained, is the organic way of the way that life is, the way that nature is. And the same way, because of that, Swamiji has beautifully given us a definition of Hinduism as the greater science. So I just wanted to reiterate that one point about the being life positive, and because from life positivity, guidelines are given about how to conduct our lives, how to have the social behavior, and also that it is a greater science is these 2 points I wanted to add. Thank you. Sorry, Manish, go ahead.
Actually, so this actually brings us back. I was reminded of a previous Jivatha Sadhas which we had when we were discussing about puja and whether puja should be made as a mandatory law or not. So, in the course of the discussion, we were discussing about laws and how laws in pretty much every nation, every country is made so that they protect themselves and to protect others. For the sake of protecting the physical and emotional and well-being of a person. So the same way, I think in each, even we have, even in the agamas, the do's and don'ts which are mentioned are all for the sake of protecting oneself from harming themselves or harming others. So when we say do's and don'ts, we need to be very specific about do's and don'ts, because even do's and don'ts are necessary. According to me, you need to have the do's and don'ts. Only then we can draw the limit, prevent humanity from falling too far below. So it is only the do's and don'ts which create that border, so that we are only motivated to be pushed forward and not to be pulled back. So it's very important to have the do's and don'ts. But where do we have the do's and don'ts? As the Raja Maharaj had beautifully put it, it is on the scale of dharma. When you have it on the scale of dharma, it's very easily you will be able to balance and make sure that you are not imposing a certain ideology on them. You are allowing them to discover their path at the same time, not at the cost of hurting oneself or hurting the other person. So this is actually the main difference between Hinduism and other religions, where our do's and don'ts are very focused on not poisoning ourselves, poisoning others, not hurting ourselves or others, but to prevent us from falling back and falling into a very low and very cheap state. So with this, let's get into the next question. What is the difference between a Christian saving your soul and a Hindu saving your soul? So actually, I just wanted to repeat a point which was brought out in yesterday's Jivatha Sadhas by Shanti Dasaya from Orlando, Florida. So he had beautifully in one statement said that the Jivatha Sadhas and the Vakyartha Sadhas is the Hindu way of conversion. So it is a very beautiful way where he put that statement. In our religion, our sampradaya, our tradition allows us to even have this kind of open debated topics where we question our own philosophies, our own powerful cognition concepts, and allow us to go into a deeper and deeper understanding. In the Brahma Sutra Satsang, that's why actually the whole debate had started when Swamiji was speaking about the Brahma Sutras, and it's been since 2011, we've been continuing this practice of the Jivatha Sadhas, Vakyartha Sadhas. Over the course of time, the names have changed, but the fundamental understanding is true. Swamiji beautifully says that 25% of learning happens when you listen to it from the master. The next 25% happens when you internalize it internally. The next 25% happens when you have that discussion with others, and the last 25% happens when you live that concept in your life. So now, as this is something which has been going on continuously, something Swamiji also has been reiterating again and again in the satsang. So we're now in the last 50% of internalizing and living this truth in our life. Hinduism, because we are given that freedom to debate and to question our own beliefs, our own concepts, our own lines which we have drawn for ourselves. It gives us the freedom to debate about it, to come to a deeper understanding about it. In the course of the Brahma Sutra Satsang, Swami had beautifully shared that when an enlightened master comes, he lifts humanity and changes the smriti, the way of lifestyle, to be accommodated to the mindset of the society of that day. That is the purpose of why enlightened masters is needed again and again, so that he raises the level of frequency. He takes Hinduism and fits it and rightly packages it for the humanity of that day. This is the purpose of the master, and this is why the Jivatha Sadhas, the Vakyartha Sadhas is very open and is encouraged a lot. So because unfortunately, fortunately or unfortunately, Hinduism, as human beings, we continuously change. We evolve. That is the course of evolution, and that is the way of nature. Nothing can be done about it. But Hinduism is the only religion which accommodates the growth of evolution, and is very flexible enough so that it can be changed and it can be altered to a way where it can fit the future mental setup. So this is why Swamiji again and again reiterates that Hinduism is the future of the world, future of humanity, because only in Hinduism it can be evolved and it can be rightly packaged to fit the understanding of modern day people. As in one line, Swamiji beautifully mentioned the other day, I am as old as the sun, but as new as sunrise. So if you take this analogy, literally he means that Hinduism is as old as sun. There's no, you cannot date Hinduism back. It's so old, but it's as fresh as the sunrise every morning. Because it is the beauty of Hinduism is, no matter how old it is, it can never be outdated. It can always be. It just needs to be repackaged and be told in the language man understands it as it is.
So I just wanted to give a little background to this question, so it helps us have this conversation. What is the difference between a Christian saving your soul and a Hindu saving your soul? So we can go about having in the discussion, what is the definition of a soul in Christianity, and what is he think that your soul is, and what is he trying to save it from, and what is the definition of a soul in Hinduism, and what is he trying to save you from? So when it comes to that's one angle we can talk about, and the other angle that I wanted to mention is the amount of effort a Christian is going about to save your soul, and the amount of effort the Hindu is going to take to save your soul. It is that is also something that I wanted to bring awareness to, because if you can clearly see the amount of organization and the amount of thinking through and the amount of work that goes through to just do the one thing, even if to save somebody's soul, and to say I want to save this person from going to hell, and for that simple reason they'll go and Christians will go and just have one convert, and that's a simple method. But the amount of effort and the amount of organization and the amount of time that they do to do this small thing is quite impressive. Are we as Hindus ready to do that amount of effort to do the same purpose of saving that person's soul? Of course, the context of what that soul is and how you're going to save it and how that's probably is going to be, again, the previous conversation of converting versus enriching. We are going to enrich that person. But what is it that we're going to, how can we, in our way, bring that tremendous amount of will persistence, may have to say, but that tremendous amount of I am there for you-ness. How can we as Hindus give that to more Hindus around the world? And how can we promise that? Because that is what Swamiji is asking us for the past few days, saying get all the Hindus involved, get everybody involved, let's build Sri Kailasa. And he's bringing this urgency. So what is it and where can we bring this urgency? And so that's the way that I wanted to address this question.